Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we usually do it in two parts. And pretty soon we're going to get back to that. We got some interviews lined up in the next month, and we took the last week off. If you listen to the episode, buddy of the podcast, my friend of 30 plus years, Tom Gazul, passed away. Very sad, and so I had to re-release Jason Takes Manhattan. It was our favorite movie growing up, and it was a special review that me and Jamie did with him because there was a snowstorm. Jamie was going to come. The roads were terrible. He stayed home, and me and Tom were like cheek to cheek, sharing a mic for 2 hours talking about our favorite movie. So it's very therapeutic to listen to it. And thank you to the people that reached out, seeing how I was doing. That was super awesome. But we're going to finish Halloween 2 days late with the Halloween sequel that I would guess it would be like more of it is a cult following from being in a Halloween franchise, but I bet if it was called, I don't know, we'll talk about names of what me and Jamie can brainstorm some names, but I bet you if it was called that, it would have a different viewing to it. But before we talk about Dr. Chalice and pretty much banging everyone in this movie, or has banged everyone in this movie, I got to introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay, Doug. How are you doing?
Good, man. It's very therapeutic getting back to what I love to do is talk sequels with you. So this will be a lot of fun. How many times have you seen this movie?
Well, it's funny. I remember seeing this. I didn't see that many Halloween movies. I'm a Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street guy. Really never I saw Halloween movies, but I always remembered as a kid a scene where these two guys were like metal hands ripping off a guy's head. And I couldn't figure out what movie it was from. And obviously it was this one. And, I know this is therapeutic for you, so you won't be surprised that I hated this movie.
Really?
And, it's really bad. And, I mean, I guess what they're trying to do with a Halloween and maybe change it up, I feel like obviously it didn't work. If they called it something else, maybe call it, 3 days till Halloween or something like that. I don't know. Call it The Mask. Before The Mask came out.
Something like that has that. Well, some of the things, I feel like the script, the idea of this movie was written in Mad Libs. The idea that it was like, which we'll get into it, but Michael Myers is in this movie.
He is? Oh, well, I mean, first of all, the fact that they're showing a clip of Halloween in this movie, which is ridiculous. Do you have Jamie Lee Curtis? It sounds like her voice playing.
It is her. Yeah, in the one scene. And then at the very end, when he has him strapped onto the thing, which for some reason they're not paying attention to him, they show Michael Myers coming down the stairs, which the thing that's crazy is if they are what John Carpenter wanted to do, he just didn't want like Michael Myers to get played out. He didn't want the idea of the sequel. And this is before sequels were even like a monster thing. So that's why he wanted to make an anthology. So he wanted to do this one, which the fact that it's called A Season of the Witch, there's no witches. There's a witch mask.
Correct.
There's more of like other lore in this.
There's so many problems with this movie. I mean, like so many problems. That it just doesn't make sense. And yes, you know what? If he didn't want to carry on the Michael Myers thing, then just call it something different. Why even bother calling it Halloween then? Like that makes no sense. I mean, if you're trying to get away from the Michael Myers, you're keeping the name of the franchise there. So that kind of makes no sense. But the plot is, to me, is so thin.
I know.
Because it revolves around two masks?
Well, like, 3 masks, the skull, the pumpkin, and the witch.
Okay, so they're assuming on Halloween, every kid wants to wear the exact same costume?
I know.
Like,
the only thing I was thinking, maybe if they were like dirt cheap, they're like $5, whatever was cheap was back then, and the parents were like, all right, why not?
But even if they were dirt cheap, what kid wants, like, they're all wearing this. It's so stupid. Like, I can understand if they had like a whole mess of different masks. Okay, fine. They only have 3 types. And like every kid that's wearing it didn't have the rest of the costume. Like it only came with a mask.
Oh, so, I know.
So like, but that's their plan is to, okay. I mean, this is coming from Stonehenge, which
Oh
Not
my
sure
god,
how.
that's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say. It was like Mad Libs. It was like, what should be the power of the mask? Like, what gives it and the fact that what happens to people is
Oh, okay.
insane.
Again, that's the
But
whole.
I know. But the fact that they use Stonehenge, like, I'd rather it be witchery. If it's called Season of the Witch, have some
Yeah. So,
witch that's over a
correct.
cauldron or something. And that would be, to me, more believable and more campy. It was so silly when we see the
Oh,
scene when Cochrane's like, you should have seen how hard it was to get here. And I'm like, there's Stonehenge here?
okay. The fact that they're able to get Stonehenge out of the ground or whatever it is, and how they transport it, because that thing has to be super heavy.
Yeah.
And no one noticed that someone's taking Stonehenge out of there. And
Hey,
like,
we're
there's no,
missing one.
like,
Wouldn't they know?
and
There's perfectly spaced.
oh,
There's a whole thing about it that's why they think like aliens had to put it there,
of
because
course,
the weight of them, it seems impossible to put there. Nobody knows how they got there, and they're
correct,
perfectly done. So if one
correct.
goes missing,
Of course.
unless they took one and then evenly did it.
But again, even if they took one, they have to be so massively heavy. What's
Yeah.
transporting that that's going to hold it? And I'm assuming it's going to take a while to get out of the ground. That, it's not going to be like, they're going to just yank it out and like a root of a weed and like take it and just, carry it back. But like, it's just so ridiculous. It really is. Like, I mean, that's your idea. And how'd they know that Stonehenge could do that?
I don't know. How do you test it out? They went to
How
the
do you test it
pyramids,
out?
that didn't work, and then
I mean, it's just like and again, like, so that's a stupid part of the movie. The fact that it's only 3 masks, the fact that they're relying on children, the fact that the bugs somehow happen to come out of the like. So there's so many like things that really do not make sense at all. And we say this in a lot of movies, like, this doesn't make sense. This whole movie really
yeah.
does not make sense. And I'm gonna just jump to the chase. The fact that this doctor who sleeps with everybody,
Yeah.
did he sleep with a robot?
Oh no, she wasn't a robot yet.
Okay, so
But he would
okay,
have.
but
He would
okay,
have.
but, no, I know he would have, but like, so I didn't understand that, because where's the real girl then? Like, I thought she was a robot the whole time. Then
That was a great question. I was thinking, yeah, they must have. I don't know if she's alive still, and they
but
just made they don't say anything. Yeah,
but they're not going to address that she's alive. Like, that's why it makes me think that she's been a robot this whole time. To it just.
I would hope
Are
you
you
would
okay?
know,
Let me ask you
right?
a question. Are you sure she wasn't a robot the whole time?
Yeah, I don't think she was a robot. That'd be.
Well,
Wouldn't he have noticed that? Wouldn't they have used her against him earlier in the movie? Why wait until
well,
it's really
yeah, but
the end for the
well, because
robot to turn?
she doesn't really need him. I mean, like,
No,
okay,
but she could have like killed him in the hallway. She could have like
but
took him down and be like, "Hey, he's over here," instead of
then
letting
where?
him
Okay,
throw the
then
civil
where
coin.
is she? Where is she?
She's dead.
That's
Maybe.
but they don't address that at all. So that's what I mean.
No.
Like, but even when he rescues her, she's strapped down. Like, okay, I mean, and not for
By
nothing.
herself.
I mean, there was a robot that sneezed or coughed in the elevator.
Yeah.
So I like, how real are these? I don't know. I'm guessing she was a robot the whole time. But who knows? I mean, the fact that you have this doctor who's going on this whole chase for no reason. He's a doctor.
He's more of a detective. Like they should have made him a private. They should have made him a detective in it.
Correct.
It made zero sense because he could have been a detective that arrived on the scene of
Correct.
her
Correct.
dad.
Correct.
Instead of being a doctor, it was just silly because that's who he is. Like,
That's
the way
exactly who
he
he
acts
is.
and talks.
So then that's what I mean. Like, so why? Like, what's his purpose for trying to solve this whole issue? He's a freaking doctor. And he doesn't know her. He doesn't know. Like, so you're gonna tell me every patient that dies, he has to figure out what what led to it? Like, he's always investigating, because it seems like if that's the case, then he must be a better PI than he is a doctor.
Well, I don't know if it's that or maybe the fact that he saw a creepy guy in the hospital and then the guy blew his own car up. Like, maybe that would make you think like, okay, this is a pretty fishy murder. That the guy went into the room, he was like sort of fine, and then somebody like ripped his face off like a mask.
But
That's basically the way they were killing people.
So, but again, why does he care to get involve himself in this murder mystery or whatever it is. You know, like
Did he
it doesn't make sense that he's involved.
He met the daughter already, right?
Yeah.
He
Okay.
wanted,
So is it?
he wanted to sleep with her.
You want to bang her?
That was his
Which
pickup
again?
line.
Okay. First of all, they must be a 20-year age difference.
Easy.
She looks like she's early 20s. He looks like he's in his 50s.
I know, but you know what's funny? He's definitely probably not in his 50s. We probably think that because he still looks like like he's still going to like Comic-Cons.
Whatever age he was, he has to be at least 20 years older than her. At least I would say between 20 and 25 years. It came across very creepy. Like he's just, first of all, he's obviously a creep to begin with, but like with her, she looks so young. And the fact,
you know how old he was? He was
how old?
47. This movie came out in 82. He was born.
He looked like he was 58.
His birthday is soon, November 13, 1935. Dude, he's that old. He looks great.
Okay,
he's
how old was she
right now?
How old was she? If he's 47.
Let's look
at this is where it gets creepy.
So he sleeps. Nelkin?
He sleeps with her, and then asks how old she was. The next scene.
Well, I can tell you, she was married to Barry Bostwick.
Really?
The guy from the mayor from Spin City.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Stacey Nelkin, age. Let's see. She was born in 1959. Yeah, so she was 23.
Okay.
So you got 24 years. Wow.
Okay, so I was right. So yeah, I mean, yeah. But again, so he sleeps with her, and then the next morning, like as they're laying in bed, he goes, "All right, so how old are you?" Like, shouldn't that be the question you ask before you sleep with her?
Yeah. She was on the Waltons. I didn't watch the Waltons, but that was like her role.
I only know her from Going Ape. She was Tony Danza's girlfriend.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So let's get into the movie, and then we'll get to a lot of things we're talking about.
Okay.
So this movie has like a really quick title card, and the beginning of the music reminded me of like a Steve Miller Band song. It was like really like Casio keyboardish, the way that they did that funky twist in the 70s.
Well, it sounded like a take on the Halloween music, but like you said, Casio version. Like those.
We get
like
it later in
old...
the movie. Did you hear it at the end of the movie?
Yeah.
Randomly, we get it in that driving scene at the very end when we find out she's a robot, and you're like, "Why are we playing the music?"
Yeah.
And the director of this movie, he was one of John Carpenter's bandmates from the 70s, and then he went on to direct a bunch of movies. One that we covered before, Friday Night Part 2. Tommy Lee Wallace, a great piano player, and he directed this one.
Oh, he got the shot. He should have stuck to the band.
No way. Friday Night Part 2. And they did a bunch of other good movies.
No, I'm talking about for this movie. He should have went back to the band. Yeah, he should have went back to the band.
I would say, you know what's crazy? It's so hard when you watch a movie and you don't like a lot of parts of it. You sometimes there are some really cool visual shots in the movie. Like when the kids are in the costume, how funny was that part? I'll talk about this now because I'm bringing it up. But when they showed like Los Angeles, New York, and they showed all the things, I'm like, this is all the same town in different parts. Like they showed like the mountains, and it was like, this is Salt Lake City, this is so and so, and I'm like, it's the same season everywhere.
It's right. It's just ridiculous. It's just and there seems to be only one commercial on TV. It's only this commercial. Like no other commercials. I mean, it's such a popular commercial that they're playing it at bars. Oh my gosh, please.
I know you're right. It's the only one, and then later in the movie, the ending scene, it is the only commercial that's playing at 9 o'clock. It's on every channel.
I have to be honest with you. If I'm a kid and I keep hearing this stupid song, I don't even want to wear the mask. Like I'm gonna almost boycott the mask because it's so annoying of a commercial.
I know
it's awful. It's awful.
I think without even the magical powers with the mask and Stonehenge and like the silver disc that has a microchip that I guess has part of Stonehenge in it. I don't understand that, but my head would explode if I had to listen to that over and over.
Ridiculous. You know what? It's like that's music they should play when they're trying to get like information out of someone, and like dude. That they're tied up to a chair, and they're like, "All right, if you don't tell us right now where the money's buried, we're gonna play this song over and over again." You know how
Waco. What
quick
was the famous song that they played to get them out in Waco? God, it was a big band in the early 90s, but they played the song on repeat to like drive them crazy. They should
that
just play this for 5
I
minutes.
would say this would within 2 minutes they'll tell you where the money's buried and like the address of every single person that was
Yeah.
involved in it.
I think it's worse with the voice, which I have that one for later. It's like,
Oh.
it's almost time, kids.
And like first of all, let's be honest. I mean, those masks really aren't that great. So like for like what's so appealing to these kids that they want to get that mask so bad? Because again, there's only 3 of them. Doesn't come with the rest of a costume. It's only a mask, and they're really like not that great looking. I mean, one's a pumpkin, right? One's a. I
Yeah.
mean, like who wants to
I
wear
like the
walk around
skeleton.
as
I
a
like the skeleton one. I would like to get one. I kind of want to get one. But the whole thing that makes zero sense is how long was, because Cochrane says to Chalice later in the movie, which Cochrane's like the evil guy that runs Silver Shamrock. He says it's a trick on the children. It's a big prank. And in my head, I'm like, how long was this slow burn? The setup for this. Was this company around for 10 years? And then finally it was like, okay, now we've been established and now we're going to kill all the kids. Because after this, they'd be done. Like what would happen next? Everyone would come after them, right?
Okay, so here's my other question, and maybe because I was just so checked out of this movie, maybe I missed it, but what is his reason for killing the kids?
Oh, the prank. He says he wants to play a prank on the children.
So this movie is based on murdering kids throughout the world as a prank.
Yes,
that's the plot.
All he says. That's all he says.
Okay, I hate this movie even more. I mean, if that's the goal, then this movie is more awful than I thought it was. What a stupid plot.
Yeah, because you know why? You know it. The thing that I thought was really stupid was after this happens, no matter what. Let's say they went along with the plan, it worked. Whatever kids could own it. I'm sure not every kid in the world had it. They died. Whatever. The parents are alive. They would go after them, right? Why is there still masks in the factory? Like, wouldn't they like just start giving them away? Like,
oh my,
because they were so in on this. Do you remember the one part? It was a van going around, and it was like they had a speaker on the van. It was like,
yes,
it was a silver shop. It was like, make sure 9 o'clock, kids.
Yep.
And it's like, you have so much into this, but why is there like more merchandise? You're never going to use this again.
It doesn't make sense. And because the prank, are they like giggling every time a child dies? Like another one. another one's head expluded. And they, they're laughing.
When they did the test, they were kind of giggling and laughing at it.
Like, but that's just so stupid.
That is, yeah. Again, if this, I'm not saying the movie would be great or even good, but just the fact that there's really no purpose to what they're doing. Like if there was one of those things that, oh, they're doing it because they want like eternal life, like thinking about Sinbad sequel that we covered. Like, okay, maybe if they do that, like Cochrane can live forever, something that makes sense, but not like we're gonna get the kids to turn into snakes and
for fun,
and spiders and stuff
for fun.
Oh, and hopefully the parents get bit.
You know what? I make it a witch like running the show, because witches hate kids, like like Hansel and Gretel and all that stuff. So make a witch who's like like the worker at the mass whatever is a witch and hates kids. That's why they're doing it. Fine. It's a season of the witch. You got a witch there. The witch has a reason for hating kids. But this old fart who's just wants to prank kids by murdering them makes absolutely no sense. And he's spending a lot of money on this. What is he gaining? Like
the ultimate prank.
Okay. Does he make anything else besides his masks?
It seems like they make 3 masks. That's all it is. It's silver, okay. And they took over this town. It's bizarre.
So what's his job then? Like, where does he have all this money? Because that's a huge factory that he works at for making 3 masks. I mean, you could probably make the masks in someone's basement. Like, this guy has a huge factory making 3 masks with tons of boxes and tons. That's all he does. So I just want to know like where because he has a pretty big evil lair. You
Yeah.
know, like that. So I just again, I where's he getting his money from? Why? I just there's so many questions. Like
Maybe
this
it was
movie.
popular for the 9 years. I was joking about like the 10-year thing, but maybe it was popular for like 9 years. He made money. But you know what's really funny? The outside of the factory is huge, but inside when they show like the production
Yeah.
facility, it was so tiny. Like when Dr. Charles was like hiding in that one room, I'm like, there's a ton of boxes, but it's like a tiny room. Like
Yeah.
it was. Oh my god. But yeah, so this movie starts off. It's Saturday the 23rd. We get like some man. It says Northern California. We get a man that's running for his life from a car that's going so slow, like so insanely slow. They go past him. He's hiding, and then he gets caught by the guy in the suit. Which again, it's the idea of those guys by themselves. If it was like a different kind of movie, they're really the guys in the suits are really creepy looking. Like.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, and then it's more Terminator like. They're like, again, yeah, it's. Well, first of all, it makes sense why they were driving so slow because they are. We know what they are, and maybe they don't know how to drive.
No,
so, but I mean, like
somehow they don't know how to drive. Michael Myers knows how to drive.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
yeah, I mean, the movie does start right off. I mean, the guy's running, and like you said, I mean, they easily could just run him over. So again, there's so many plots. I was trying to, I guess, go along with this whole movie, and I got lost. So, did he work at the factory?
No,
Is that
he
why
like owns one of the stores. So a lot of the people we interact with in this movie, besides Dr. Chalice and the guy in the opening scene that gets murdered, his daughter, it's people that like own costume shops and party stores.
Okay.
Like the family that gets killed later.
Oh my gosh.
They own like a costume store. The woman that's in the hotel, she owns like a costume store in San Francisco. So that's like the only people that we really meet besides the coroner and the older husky nurse that I think that
well and the bum in the street. The
bum
homeless
in the street
man
too.
So wait, so why is this guy running? He figured it out. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So I guess I don't know how he figured it out because unless he accidentally, if he went to the factory and hid out, or he looked at the mask and was like, "Hey, what's this weird silver heavy thing in the back?"
Yeah, which no one notices when they have those masks, like that. No one takes it off, like it's a tag. When you take it off the mask, like you would think. But I mean, they really don't explain anything in this movie. Like they don't really explain how he knows he's holding on to this mask. Okay, I mean, like first of all, the fact that he dodges that the he's hiding out in plain sight right at the front door when he couldn't get out. Then he gets that rope somehow that just happened to sit there, that he has good aim to get the car come down and crush the one guy.
Yeah.
Right? Was that okay? And then they get him and they bring him in a hospital. He's still holding onto this mask. Even when they're bringing him on the gurney, even when he's in his hospital bed, he's still holding onto the mask.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me the hospital doesn't take your belongings and when you're
yeah.
I mean,
this guy's bag and put it in the closet. Yeah.
Nothing. Like he's still they don't question that. Like, why is he still holding it? Or yeah. And if he knows what the mask does, wouldn't you want to go far away from it?
Maybe he wants to make sure he still has the evidence. That's the only. I wouldn't want to be near it, but I don't know. We never really get him to explain. All he does is mumble, right?
He mumbles.
He just mumbles over and over again about
So let me ask you this. So does the mask only work when you're wearing it, or if you're holding it in your hand, does the same thing happen?
Well, we saw what happened later in the movie. But you don't have to be holding it. It could just be those coins can be near you and somehow create a circular light.
Oh
between
my
all the
You're right. I forgot about that. Oh my god. Okay, so this mask has multiple powers. Clearly.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And her name's Ellie. That's what Grimbridge. What a name. Who makes that name up? Grimbridge is somebody who's listening right now. Their last name's Grimbridge and they turned it off.
Every character in this movie is like a cartoon character that we meet.
Yeah.
They really are. Like the woman at the hotel, the family comes in, like they're all like so over the top kind of characters. It's ridiculous.
Oh my god, yeah. No, they're all they play it up, they ham it up so much because we don't get a lot of characters. Like really, this is very rare for a movie, especially one of these Halloween movies. Usually you meet a lot of different people, but no, this one there's not a lot of people that they get like short screen time and then they
Very
go.
short screen time, and like you don't. Not that you really get attached to any of them, but like at least like with the Friday movies or even Halloween movies, you get that group that you learn all about, and then they start dying. So it's like, all right, I didn't like the guy anyway, or I didn't like. But here it's like quick, and like you really don't get to know the characters at all, except for the creepy doctor and the young girl. Outside of
Chalice,
that,
man.
oh my gosh, he's so creepy. He even looks, he has that creepy look to him. He just. And I know he plays a very similar role in a lot of movies. He's just that guy. I mean,
He's
right off the bat, he's an awful father. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times does his wife call and yell at him to spend time with the kids, and he keeps making an excuse that he can't?
I'm here with this hot piece of that's really like what he wants to. Hey, I got to do this thing. I got to stay overnight in this hotel. But you know what's funny? Doesn't it seem like they're not married? But the way she talks to him on the phone, it's like they are married.
No, I think it's his ex-wife.
I know, but she makes it seem like he should be living there.
Well, when he was there in the beginning, it made it look like they were married. But then he makes mention that it's his ex-wife, or doesn't he, or something like that, or later on.
No, he does say something like that. Yeah, but she makes it seem every time.
Right.
The only time, and the worst is we get the little. You could barely hear the conversation.
Yeah,
at
I know.
the end when she's like, "You're drunk, aren't you?"
It sounds like Charlie Brown, like adults when she's talking on the phone, like all you hear is like you hear her barking the whole time, and like you don't. Yeah. But he's like always rushing her off the phone, like, oh, I can't talk now, and he hangs up on her. He's talking about his kids, like your kids are asking for you. Yeah, I'm busy right now, I can't. And he hangs up like quick, like it's like. And again, he's going on a journey that he doesn't need to go on. There's no reason for him to be doing any of this. He's a doctor, and that's it. It just like it doesn't make sense that he's putting his life in jeopardy. He's putting his family in the back seat, and not even worrying about them. It's just stupid.
Yeah, detective would make more sense.
He hits on every single woman in this movie. Everyone.
It seems like he slept with everyone. Just the way he looks at them and the way they look at the way they look back at him. There's like this like
when he's walking in the hallway with the one nurse and he slaps her in the ass or something like that. Like really? Like
I should have married you. That's what he said.
And then he's hitting on the one that's dissecting the burnt corpse.
I know, dude. She's great too.
I mean, it's just like he really he's such a creep. It's so
Did you see it? Did you notice somebody in this movie that looked like a member of the Rat Pack? The guy at the gas station looked like Sammy Davis Jr. He was in the movie twice. He was in the beginning. I know. End.
Yeah.
He might have been the second time because the commercial plays a lot in this movie. But when we saw him at the gas station, the gas station is the first time that we get it.
I might have wrote it down. I don't know where it is, but I think I wrote something down about him because he looked like, I forget what I called him, but he looked very familiar, like another actor. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the first time because obviously from this movie, the song, but that's like the first time we get it when it's at the gas station.
Oh, please. I haven't watched this movie in a week and the song was out of my head. And now you're playing it like, before I go to bed. And this is what I'm going to be thinking about.
Well, I have it noted every time. So every time it comes up in the movie, I'm going to play it. So,
you realize this is like saying, I don't know on You Can't Do That on Television. Like every time you mention the word Halloween, that music's going to go on. That's
like
Pee
Wee, yeah. The word of the day, yeah. So then when they show up, so this is when I think he hears something. Oh, yeah. So this is that guy. It's so funny. This guy's so important in the movie. So wherever he is like a central part of the movie, the gas station, because that's where Ellie's dad shows up. And then he calls 911 for him because he's like bleeding.
Yep.
And that's when Chalice gets there, because he gets a phone call at home, I think, right?
He brings him to the hospital. So which is he the only doctor at the hospital on call?
Maybe.
I mean, it literally. I mean, and he didn't do surgery on the guy or anything. They just basically brought him in and put him right in a room. So, like, why did he have to rush to the hospital?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was like, I gotta get out of here. Oh, no, I'll come in. I'll take it. I gotta get away from my
Well,
ex.
let's be honest. I mean, the hospital's pretty empty because those guys are able to walk around so easily in the hospital, like they do in every movie. There is no security, no one questioning anything, and there you really don't see any other doctor walking around.
No, there's no other doctor there. It must be a very small town that they had to call him to come in to do it.
Yeah, yeah. And again, he didn't do anything to the patient. They just brought him to a room.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what Tom I just wrote down what he says to the nurse. He goes, "Oh, I'm tired. You want to take a nap with me?"
Such a creep. He's such a creep.
Oh my god! And you know what's funny? The robot men. We've dealt with Tomato Men. This is our first.
Yep.
Oh, I guess we dealt with robot men in Bill and Ted. They were robot men in Bogus Journey. But how about these robot men hum songs when he's putting on his glove? Well, did they have fingerprints? Why does he need to wear gloves?
And he also wipes the curtain with the blood from his hand.
Yeah.
But he's wearing gloves. And he's a robot. What does he care how dirty his hands are?
Yeah,
throw the gloves. I mean, you're wearing gloves for a reason. So yeah, you're right. Do they have fingerprints? That's why he's wearing gloves. Like, why would a robot care if they get dirty anyway?
Yeah. And then this is when the nurse sees him walk out and she stares at him and he just keeps walking. She looks in the room, sees he's dead. And that's when Atkins runs after him. And then that's where the guy, he lights himself on fire. And I wrote, this is almost as wild as the death in Jaws 2 when the girl lights herself on fire instead of getting eaten by the shark. Because I was not expecting that.
No, but
really,
he's a robot, right? So he obviously was programmed to go after that guy. Can't they just deprogram him? Like, why does he have to light himself on fire as a robot to kill? Like, couldn't they say, like, all right, come back to where we are? Or I'm sure there's a deprogram button that just basically kills him.
Yeah, or have it run away or something. Because the whole purpose of the coroner lady later in the movie, she's like, I found all these gears and stuff that I'd never seen in a car before. Right. It's like, okay, well, obviously, if you light them on fire, the metal is not going to burn. The metal is still going to be there. So they're going to know that this isn't a human being. Like,
yeah. And again, by fire, like, that's probably, if he's a robot, fire is probably the least effective way to destroy complete evidence of a robot.
Yeah.
Like, maybe bury yourself in the ocean or something.
It was. Did you notice how bad the dummy was? As soon as the fire lit, it's not like you expect somebody to be in there, but maybe just not zoom in. But you saw like the dummy like burning in the car. I'm like,
yeah, it's stupid.
Oh my god. And then when Ellie gets there, they're like, "Do you want to confirm this is your father?" And they do the old like lift the sheet, and she's like, "Yeah, that's him."
So, okay. So this main guy who's the bad guy whose job is to make masks, that's, for the prank, he's obviously a skilled guy to make robots like this. Isn't there like something better he can do than like worry about masks and like he's got these robots that you think they're human until half the movie.
Yeah.
Like, like, I mean, like, so what is he like relying on these rubber masks?
You know what he could have done? You had to think this is 41 years ago, this movie. He has this technology he can make. He could have been like the leader in sex dolls. Like the real life. People would have bought a ton of Ellies in 1982, But no, he wants to make these robots in order to be like his security to stop the Halloween shop owners who are hot on his tail from alerting. Who would believe these people? Really, like, could you imagine if it's like, yeah, there's a plot that McDonald's on a certain date is gonna like poison our Big Macs, and it's like, okay, crazy guy, that's as crazy as this.
And this is before the internet. So, are there a lot of mask shops out there that have these masks? Like, are toy shops that have these masks? Like it just seems like he's relying on so much to destroy so many things, but like, how many stores really are out there that carry these masks?
I don't know, but he has these robots out there, I guess, selling them, like going
Wouldn't it have been
store to store.
smarter to like build like maybe like GI Joe like little robots and Barbie robots so the boys and girls can like that's more believable than having these kids buy the masks, which I mean, let's be honest, they were all like creepy, like like they're Halloween for the most part, probably for boys. Like there really
Yeah.
weren't anything girly for the so like was he only trying to kill boys?
All the boys. Maybe he didn't want the population to grow. He's like, I will pick one of them to get rid of.
Okay. All right.
But just the whole plan of this movie, you're right. Now I
Oh.
mean, like a little mix with Silent Night, Deadly Night 5. Have like the toys attack the kids. That could have been good.
Way
But
better.
no.
Way better. I mean, this whole again, this I'm honestly, the more we're talking about this movie, I'm ready to put this in the bottom 3. Like that's how bad. Oh,
Wow.
it really makes no sense at all. And
Son of the Mask.
the worst.
Would you rather watch Son of the Mask?
Yes. I would rather, because at least with the Son of the Mask, there are some scenes that again you can laugh a little bit. This movie, again, there's no explanation for anything. Nothing that happens makes sense at all. And it just awful. It's awful. This is definitely okay. At least bottom 5. I'll give 5.
What would you rather watch, this or the one with Monique Parent? The one with what was the one? The Mirror 3.
Oh, oof. All right, that's a rough one.
What,
All right.
what's more believable? A mirror that bleeds, or a mask that can make that has parts of Stonehenge that's going to turn your head into a snake?
Here's the difference though, and I'm not saying I'd rather watch Mirror because that one's really awful. Like that's like number 1, but at least the movie's called Mirror, and it involves a mirror. Where this is called Season of the Witch, and there's no witch.
Witches. Like Troll 2. So only goblins.
I'll take Troll 2 any day over this.
100%. I watched it a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Well, that's a problem.
So then after this, Tom Atkins, after this, he like consoles her a little bit. But he like kind of like backs off from Ellie. And then he goes down to convince the coroner that he definitely has slept with before to look into the case. And she's like the assistant. She's like, I don't know if I can, but he's like, come on. And then we cut to him at a bar, and the bar is playing cartoons.
I was in, okay. I mean, and he's like the only one in the bar. It's him and the bartender. Okay. I mean, it seems, did they not have a budget for like extras? Because he's the only, like, there's only like 3 people at the hospital. He's the only one in the bar. The bar, like I said, is playing cartoons and the stupid Halloween commercial. Like, and okay. I mean, listen, this guy is not a good looking guy. Why are all these women sleeping with him?
He's like, I'm trying to think of a celebrity that was like that, but he always in every
Pete Davidson?
In every horror movie, the women love him.
I know, and it doesn't
like
make
real
sense.
Life, it's like even when like horror fans on Twitter, they're like, oh my god, Tom Atkins and like this and Night of the Creeps, they love him. I don't know why.
It doesn't make sense. Like I can understand if he was a younger doctor, all these nurses want, like, but like he literally like they all seem to be like fawning over him.
Wait, how old are you right now? 48?
49.
So you're older than he was in this movie.
Isn't that ridiculous? Well, don't forget,
insane.
Wilford Brimley was in his 40s, I think, for Cocoon. Okay, so
yeah.
Paulie was in his 40s.
Or Star Wars Ewok.
Oh
Battle
my gosh.
for Endor. Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, you're gonna tell me he doesn't look like he's 58?
No, I know. Wow. He looks really old. No, it's
insane. It just doesn't make. He's 47. That's ridiculous.
Yes. But I love that after we get the Halloween commercial, he's like, "Hey, how about you put the game on?" Which again, if you think timeline wise, he went in overnight. It was like overnight. So maybe that's why he had cartoons on. It was probably 4 or 5 in the morning, and there was just a replay of a game. It was kind of weird.
But there's nothing else. You're at a bar. What person going to a bar is watching cartoons?
I don't know. And then Ellie comes in. How does Ellie find him? We didn't get a scene of them leaving.
Because she's a robot.
Oh, maybe.
She's a robot, just like the robots found the old guy, and she knows exactly where he's going.
Wow.
See? I'm telling you, He had sex with the robot and didn't realize it.
It'd be
I'm
interesting to
going
know.
with that.
An article I just looked at real quick. It doesn't say like when. It says that it's assumed that it's at the end of the movie that she gets chained. But it would be interesting if she was a robot the whole time. If you like rewatch, maybe there was like some tick, like maybe when she had a little like split pea soup coming out of her nose because that's the color that these guys bleed, which is kind
Yeah,
of
but
wild.
but see, but again, they don't explain where the real girl is. They don't explain that maybe they turned her into a robot. They whatever. Like there's no explanation. She's just gone, and now she's a robot. Like so, you would think they would say we killed her and we made. First of all, how would they make a robot of her so fast?
Stonehenge, maybe Stonehenge can clone
Okay,
fast.
so think about that. How there's no way they would be able to make a replica of her that fast. She wasn't part of any of the stores. It was just her father.
Yeah, me personally, I like didn't think something was gonna happen, but I think as a viewer, I would have loved if when they were leaving, you saw maybe like while they were leaving out the back door, show like the camera look into a room and see like her dead body. Because then it would have been like as the audience,
Right.
it'd make you feel so uneasy
Correct.
knowing that he's not with her. It was
Right.
kind of weird because he was like talking to her and she wasn't talking. It would have been
Yeah.
better if I knew that, if sort of I knew that was happening, to be like, okay, when's she gonna like go after him? But no, you're right.
Yeah.
They should have
So
because it doesn't make
I'm
the
telling
timeline
you,
makes no sense. Even if he
no, it
worked
doesn't.
overnight, well, I don't know what game he's watching or what bar's open. Like I
Well,
don't know. I'm saying that.
well, New York City bars open up 24 hours.
No, they're not open
Yes,
24
they
hours.
are in the city.
No, they're
They're
not.
open. They're
4
open until
o'clock.
they're what time?
4.
I bet you there's some Irish bars out there that are open for breakfast at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Maybe, but okay,
Okay.
But again, still, how does she find him? It must be the
Because
only
she's a
bar in town.
robot. She's programmed. Just like the robots were. How are those robots finding any of them? How did the robot go to the hospital? How did the robot go? You know, the guys.
Well, the
Those
robot
guys,
knew he was going to the hospital because they were probably watching him, and they're like, "Oh, that guy's taking him to the hospital. We can just follow the gas
they're
station
robots.
truck."
But they're robots. They're able to go everywhere they're going. How are they doing that?
They're not 21st, century robots. They're 20th century. They don't have internet. They don't have like
Right.
connections to anything.
That's my point. So they're being programmed. Okay. So these robots, are they like remote controlled back at the lair? Like how are
Maybe
they?
all the
Okay,
screens
so
that we get and the blinky lights on the computer. Beep beep. Beep. I love that he
Those-
works them. We'll get to that later, but
oh
the fact
my
that he knows what
gosh.
buttons to push.
Okay, listen. The things he does at the end of the movie, I mean, is ridiculous. I mean, just
There's one
the-
that is going
mask
into
throw?
the sequel. Yeah, dude. Sequel.
Okay, I
Hall
mean,
of
come on.
Fame.
Okay, yeah, okay. So I mean, just there's so much.
Like
There's so
this.
much. Yeah.
Like short arms it.
And the fact that I mean, those old TVs, those old square TVs are so thick and strong, your foot is not going through it.
No way.
And he was sitting kind of far away to even grab anything. Well, again, we're not there yet, but like, so the things he does at the end, again, nothing. You can't tell. Find me one scene in this movie that makes sense, because there really isn't anything that makes sense.
None, really. None. No, even the next scene to me makes no sense. This guy's an older guy, and I'm not against Brimbridge that died. And I'm not against people that use diaries. When I was a kid, I used to write a diary. Like when I was like a teenager. But
do you know where it is?
My diary? No, my parents threw all my shit out.
Oh.
As soon as I moved out, they threw everything out. But like the fact that she's like talking to her, oh, my dad, wrote this thing about a mask. He owned a toy store, and in his diary, he wrote that he went to so that was the whole thing. Now that we're at this part, it makes more sense. He like went to the factory, and that's where he figured out everything they were doing. I don't know if he went on a tour like the family did later in the movie. It was something like that, and he like escaped somehow, or he was just like peeping in the window.
Well, something tells me that if you're going on a tour in that factory, you're not leaving alive.
You're not.
And that guy is an old guy. I can't see him escaping. So, see, was he a robot too?
Well, why would they kill the robot? The robot wouldn't turn. The robot wouldn't know what to do.
Well, because if that's his, or maybe that girl really isn't his daughter because
No,
she's
I
a
don't think
robot.
she's a robot.
There's no explanation of where the body is.
I
It
know
has
there's
to
no
be.
explanation. I think it's just bad writing.
Egan, Egan, where's Egan? Ask Egan when we're done, to explain that, because there is absolutely no explanation. So, okay. I'm sticking to my guns.
So then this is where the part was when she's like, I'm going to head up to the factory. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll go with you. Like, he volunteers pretty quick. And I wrote like, oh, he has to be divorced, right? So obviously we heard that later in the movie. But, and then I don't even know where they are right now. Is he on the phone with his ex? Because the song
he was on his phone with his
again.
ex like 3 times throughout the movie. And
Yeah.
all she does, which I got to be honest, I can understand why he's divorced with her, because all she does is scream at him. all 3 phone calls, like it's there's nothing pleasant. Even when he went to the house to bring the kids a gift, she had to outshine him with the 2 other masks. Like, he brought those cheesy 2 masks for the kids as a surprise, and but she walked in with a miserable face when she saw him. She just seems like a miserable person to begin with. So I mean, I'm taking his side in this. She seems like she does a lot of yelling.
Or the fact that he banged everyone in the hospital while they're married.
that could be it too. That could be it too.
But so the song plays again, which is insane. Like, and I don't even know where it plays. Maybe when they're checking into the hotel. It must be that.
Well,
but anyway,
at the lobby, that lobby that he seems to find his way around the entire lobby. The lobby, the room where he goes to for the keys. That he uses the phone, and he just
Oh yeah. So maybe that's when he's on the phone with him.
Oh my gosh! You know what? After listening to this, I wish my head would explode.
I wonder how they came up with that. That is I wonder what are the other options that they didn't go with.
Do you realize that that's the only thing that makes sense in this movie is the fact that Halloween's only 3 days away?
Yeah.
That's the only. So that song is really the only thing that makes sense in the whole movie.
That's the only factual thing. Hey, children, 3 days away.
It's the only believable thing in this movie.
Yeah.
Is the fact that Halloween is 3 days away.
Oh man, but in the town they have everything in it. Like, I wrote down the pub, because the whole thing is Cochrane, which is like an Irish last name. The whole town is it seems like they built the town, like the Cochrane family, because the bar is the Dublin pub, and it's the only thing, because he said, oh, this is a company town. So I guess everybody has some ties to that factory.
Well, it's everything's Irish, right? The Shamrock is the company, right?
Silver Shamrock, yeah.
So okay.
Oh man, and right away.
So maybe that's where he got his money from. We were wondering where he would. Maybe it's because all real estate.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. It's from the rent of the town and the hotel. That's what makes it, not for the masks. But I love how right away, they get to the town. It seems like they weren't driving. I think they were driving maybe a few hours. But when they get there, they're like, oh, it'd probably be better if we go in the morning. Maybe we should get a hotel.
She just met him. Really, and they're getting a room. And he's like, I'll sleep on the floor. And she goes, no. Or she invites him into bed. She just met this guy.
Yeah.
Not only that, your father was just murdered. Which, again, she doesn't show remorse because she's a robot.
Yeah. But just before that, this is where we meet the family we barely see. The family that we see later in the movie. They're in an RV. They're getting ready to go in the hotel. We see the woman who is in the room next door. She almost hits Dr. Chalice.
Yep.
And then his line, he says to Ellie when he finally gets into the room, like you were just explaining, because I wrote it down because I couldn't believe that it happened. He says, hey, let's get a drink. And she doesn't really say anything back. And then his next line was, I could sleep in the car, better than the floor. She looks at him. She goes, where do you want to sleep, Dr. Chalice? And he says,
my gosh,
that's a stupid question.
He's such a creep.
Insane.
He's such a creep.
Yeah.
He's such a creep. Ugh.
Insane. And then while they're like boning, I guess, we get all these shots of the town to show us like how
Yep.
creepy it is, because then we see security cameras everywhere. So security cameras throughout the town, which we see later in the movie on one of the screens, we see everything that they're able to look at everything in the town. And this is where we see the random homeless guy.
Okay. So if this town was so far away where the factory is, how did the old man wind up where he was? If they took him a couple hours to drive there.
Oh, you're talking about like when he got back to town, he was like running away?
Well, when he's running away from the robots.
Yeah, I don't know. They
So-
should have maybe shown that a little bit better. Than,
Oh, you mean they should have explained that one too? Okay.
yeah, they should have maybe explained, like maybe show some kind of chase to start the movie. But it was really
Or
just him
explain
walking.
why they're chasing him. Why they chase like and why does he know? Like it just again like because it would make sense that he was at the factory, but that factory seems like it's very far away and he's been running on foot the entire beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I think that what they were really trying to do, and I'm not sticking up for them, it should have been like better laid out. They really wanted the shock value of you watching the movie when you get to what the masks do, even though it is silly.
Oh, I was
It is
shocked
still
already. I was shocked how bad the movie was. That's how shocked I was.
But you were honestly, I saw this movie when I was really young, and I really don't remember what the masks do because you only see it a couple times. The scarier part of the movie are the robot men. You know, when you see what they
I think
can do.
the bugs are the scariest part.
It is, but I'm saying it takes a while to get to that. That family.
No, I know,
that doesn't happen
but
until,
like
50 minutes in.
So, but okay, you're right, and yes, the robot men in the beginning. I mean, like it's creepy. They ripping the guy's head off and whatever. Like squeezing. Yes, but again, we're getting to parts now of the things that this mask does, and I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand. So, is that part of the prank of somehow getting bugs to come out of your mouth?
Yes.
Like. I mean, again, first of all, not sure how the bugs get there, and it seems like one mask has bees and the other one has snakes and centipedes.
Yeah.
I mean, is it just so the pumpkin mask can only do bees, the skeleton does snakes and centipedes, and maybe whatever the third mask does like crickets and
Do we see
whatever.
any of the other ones? The kid of the family was the pumpkin mask.
Pumpkin, correct.
Do we see anybody else?
Well, we saw the bees. There was some family that had a bee. Cause I wrote it down. Why bees? So where are the bees coming from? So there was a face blown up. That's what I got from someone.
That was the girl. That was the lady. That was the costume lady next door. 'Cause she was messing around with the mask.
Yeah, but the bees come out of her.
Oh yeah. She had bees coming out of her.
Okay, so that's the bees. Okay, so again, so she wasn't even wearing the mask, and the bees came out of her.
It must have been the power of the Stonehenge in the silver chip that went into her face and then transform her face.
So somehow it's able to make live insects.
Yeah, it manufactures
come out of your mouth and body by just the music and the mask.
Yeah, and hers is creepy because with the kid, we don't really see his face disintegrate. We just see the mask close in, sort of.
Yeah.
But we see half of her head. So that's kind of creepier. The fact that we actually saw.
Yeah. Well, she was burnt, right? I thought she was burnt or something. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it just that's their idea though. I still I'm trying to figure out what's the purpose of the bugs then? Just to make it creepier. Just just I don't know.
It's really funny. Those Irish. That's the Irish sense of humor. I guess I don't know.
All right. I think that adds to the movie being if it just made your head explode, I think it makes the movie better. But the fact that it does a melting kind of thing to your face, and then adding the bugs to it just takes away from what the mask is doing. I think it should just be one or the other. It shouldn't be not even the other. It shouldn't even involve insects at all. It should be it interacts with the music and your face melts or explodes. That's it. That would have made the movie slightly better.
Yeah. No, I agree. When we get to the scene with the family, we'll talk a little bit
All
about
right, fine.
more about it because I have a thought about like what's the.
Okay, all right.
I'm not saying I could defeat a snake, but I could definitely get away from it a
Oh
lot
my
faster than these
gosh.
people do. But how about the random homeless guy who lives in the town? Why is he living in this town? And why is he screaming his plan?
Wait a second. You just said, why does this random homeless
Yeah,
guy live in the town?
in that town, in the
But
Silver
he's
Shamrock
homeless.
town.
He can live anywhere. Why
Or
is
go
it?
somewhere
Why
else
is that
'cause it's-
shocking?
No, because it seems like he knows what's going on there, and then he starts shouting. He's like yelling about Cochrane, and he starts talking about like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get a whole mess of Molotov cocktails and throw them at the factory."
Okay, first of all, every movie has that homeless guy that has knowledge of what's going on because everybody's not paying attention. So there's probably conversations around him all the time. But every movie has that homeless guy that knows things that goes on. But he's the only homeless person in that whole town.
He is, and he has a good setup. He has a shed.
No,
he has
does.
A lot of cheese whiz. He's eating cheese whiz.
Doesn't he share a drink with him or something?
With who?
Oh, I thought, what's his name? The creepy doctor. Doesn't he? I'm trying to find out where it was, but I think he gave him like he shared it like something. I was like, you're gonna share something with this homeless guy? Like you don't know.
No, I don't. I don't remember that.
I'm always
I know he
positive
walked past him. He like bumped into him. Maybe he gave him a beer or something. I don't think he shared something.
I thought he shared like a water or something with him. All right.
No, because then right after that, after he's yelling, he's eating the cheese whiz, and the guys see him, the robot men see him, and he's like, "Oh no, I didn't mean to." And then his head got ripped pretty quick.
Okay.
With a blood squirt from the side.
You're right. Okay. No, hold on. I did write it down. He shares a drink with the guy he bumps into. He shared a drink with him. He was out there drinking, and he shared it with him.
Ah, he took a swig out of it?
So yes!
He should tell Ellie, like, hey, I might have hepatitis C now.
I said, you're going to share a drink with someone, a homeless guy you just bumped into?
Yeah.
But again, this guy probably has so many different kind of sexual diseases anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he really, I think getting something from a homeless guy is probably the cleanest thing he has.
I know, that's true. He's like the poster boy. Everyone that's in the hospital, he's like, bring it on. And all the diseases that he's working on, and he's sharing with everyone, the coroner. Yeah.
Gonna make some more creepy.
All right. Yay. And then we get, what was her name?
Okay. So, yeah. Is this where she gets out of the shower? And she grabs
quick side boob.
Okay. We do get side boob, but she's grabbing the bed, what is it called? The sheet, not the sheet, but the blanket. That's her towel. She uses the sheet from the bed as her towel.
The sleazy hotel, man. Maybe Dr. Chalice used all the towels.
Or no, he hid all the towels.
That's a good. That's
this
a good
way,
strategy.
he's hoping that she. Yeah, see, he would do that.
That's a good strategy. Throw him out the window, and then she's like, "I have nothing." Just leave like little towels.
Oh, and again, she just met him. Yeah.
She was more into it because she offered the line of, "Well, where do you want to sleep, Dr. Chalice?"
Yep.
Oh man, and then you know what? And then when he gets, oh dude, I forgot about this. When she gets back, so in the audience, you think like, okay, they just boned, like before, like when they were about to hook up. But then this is when he calls. Tom Atkins is gone. He calls the coroner, and he's trying to figure out about the autopsy. And they're like, "Oh, it's delayed. All we have is a bunch of metal parts." So then when he gets back, she's wearing a teddy. So she brought a teddy on this trip to find out how her dad got killed or what her dad was getting into. And then, dude, I've never, no joke, in a horror movie, I don't think I've ever seen actual like nipple sucking. Like honestly, in so many horror movies that I've seen, like things that
You're
were
gonna tell me not in one Friday the 13th there wasn't anything like that?
No, like actually doing that, dude. That's like very risky. That's very risky. I'm surprised that wouldn't make the movie like.
So creepy though. I mean, like
he's double her age.
She's a cute girl. She's 24 years old. She's cute, and he just again, he looks like he's 58 and creepy looking. Like he looks like a predator. I mean, I just in this role, so it's like, oh, Ugh, so gross.
And the lady, again, the names in this movie are really funny. The lady's name was Marge Goodman, and she bumped into, I think it was Chalice, and she talks like real quick. She like tells her whole story. She's like, "I'm here. I'm from San Francisco. I'm here to buy some some of those new masks." And then after like they're boning, she's like in the next room. We cut to her. She's listening to classical music, and then the mask breaks. So she grabs like that little silver shamrock circle. She starts like to pick at it, and no joke, I was shocked when the laser flew out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And dude, the special effects in the movie are really cool because the way the spider like first crawled out of her face, like at the end of it, woof.
Well, I mean, the fact that, like, I mean, she was using a tweezer to open it up, right? That she
Yeah.
figured it out. Like I guess would she think like I don't know. And she takes out there was like microchips in there and everything.
Oh yeah.
So I still want to know how microchips work with Stonehenge.
I don't know. I don't know.
You know, like what would have been better if all the masks have a little piece of Stonehenge.
Yes. Well, I'm guessing
that would make
inside
sense.
of that, there's like Stonehenge, or somehow what we saw what Stonehenge does later in the movie, at the end of the movie. So maybe they put the chip in front of Stonehenge, but we had the guys in the lab coats chiseling away.
Yeah.
Which is
right,
ridiculous.
but they don't tell you what are they chiseling away for. Like it would be different. Like if they opened it up, like little powder came out. That's Stonehenge, like something Stonehenge related would have made more sense.
Or the fact that there's no face on Stonehenge. They just use they use whatever they could find from another movie, like some big plastic thing, and it was just so silly that there was nothing associated with it. But again, within seconds, because of the power of Stonehenge, maybe Stonehenge it'd be more believable if Stonehenge talked to Cochrane, like telepathically or something. The fact that within seconds the silver shamrock van is there, and we get Tom Atkins' butt real quick. He's looking out the window.
Well, which again, why? Like, I mean, you know, that was such a Van Damme moment, you know, because that's something Van Damme does in all his movies. But so, like, every time a mask goes off, does the secret lair?
An angel gets his wings.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's so like, are they notified every single time? Like, because there's no other way that they would know to get there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Makes sense. And how big's the town that they? So, do they have multiple layers throughout the country that when they go off other places?
Well, I think the other places they kind of I guess they're hoping it doesn't go off in other places. It's very rare. But how about the fact that because he's a doctor, he's like, I'm a doctor, I can take a look, and it's like, oh, don't worry, she'll be in the best care. She's covered and she's in a body bag.
I was gonna say the best care. She was completely covered like a mummy, and like even over like as if you're wheeling out a dead body. That she looked like, and they're like, okay.
she's really injured. So usually when people are injured, they need all the oxygen they can get. They have a blanket over her head. Like, what kind of?
Yeah, and they were okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god! And then from there, now the next day again, he's obviously Dr. Chalice is worried, but no, we cut to the 30th, so it's the day before Halloween, Mischief Night in New Jersey, and really only New Jersey and New York really celebrate that, which is kind of silly. So if you listeners at Sequels Only on Twitter, let us know, what do they call October 30th by you? Because here people are TPing houses.
I learned something. I mean, I called it something completely different than New Jersey. So we used to call it Gate night.
Gate night?
Gate night. Yeah. Like, I guess gates of hell. I don't know, but Gate night.
Okay.
And I know, okay, you're making a face, but I heard that New Jersey calls it Goosey night. Okay.
No, it's Mischief Night in New Jersey.
Excuse me. I know plenty of people from Jersey that call it Goosey night, which I think is extremely lame.
That's really lame.
So, and Mischief Night, I get, and I think that's more universal, but we used to call it Gate Night.
Yeah, but I'm being honest. If other parts of the country don't do anything on that night, it's not a thing.
Because they're nice. We're in New Jersey, New York. We're not so nice, so we go around toilet paper in people's houses and
shaving,
whatever.
Cars. Yeah, man. Yeah, you gotta do it all. But yeah, so the next day, right away, he's like, "All right, let me call back the coroner that I slept with that ruined my marriage. She hasn't found much yet. But you know what she says? She wants to charge him for dinners. She goes, man, all this hard work, you better give me some dinner. And it's like, whoa. And now they're going to go to the factory. So that's what they want to do. From there, they're like, hey, you know what? Let's go in there to check it out. And then that's when they
How
run
do they
into
know?
the
How do
family.
they know where the factory is?
Well, it's ginormous. It's the biggest thing in town.
No, I get it. Okay, but they obviously drove hours to get there. Again, there's no. I mean, I can't imagine that factory is in the phone book. I mean, it's a secret lair.
No, I don't think it really is a secret. To us, if you go inside, it's a secret lair. How creepy all the stuff is. But they were a legit company for X amount of years until they wanted to play the ultimate prank on every child.
Yeah, but there seems to be a lot of criminal activity going on inside the factory. So if it's a known place, wouldn't you want to like? What if someone wants to go investigate or whatever? Like I feel like it is more of a secret lair. I don't know if they're out there. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems easy to find.
All right.
The whole town.
So they go there and she recognizes her father's car.
Yeah. And I love that it's just the time of them covering it.
Exactly time. Right. Yeah. So again, how'd the father get to where he was, which is hours away because that's how they drove there.
That is true. How did he get back? And I just
so now we know.
Okay,
so now we know. So you're right. So he probably did escape. He probably went there and he somehow escaped.
He ran for hours upon hours. I just thought about this. The commercial. This prank is only on the children of America because they should have had in that sequence when they showed only the kids wearing the mask in America. They should have the commercial played in other languages to show like the world. So only America is gonna get. So Cochrane wants to play a prank on only the kids in the United States.
It's such a thin,
silly,
stupid plot. It really is. Like, I can't believe that's like the ultimate plot of what's going on in the movie.
Yeah, he just wants to prank the kid. When he says that, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Okay.
The children, his line about Halloween is really funny. He goes, "You send your children out en masse to beg for candy." Like, all right.
I'll just tell you right now, as a kid, there's no way I would want to wear that mask if I know everybody else is wearing the same exact
100%.
mask. It's so stupid. So okay,
you want to show up and it's
that
like
plot hole alone is just should have destroyed this whole movie.
Yeah, very silly.
Okay,
so then they run into that '80s family on the tour, and that guy's there because he's the highest mask seller. So wouldn't you sacrifice the lowest guy? Be like, hey, why aren't you selling all the masks? Come on, Frank, and just kill Frank. No, kill the one that had anybody can wear that mask. Why does it have to be a kid? It has to be the kid, and the parents have to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, why would they? Of all people, it should be like, all right, the worst salesman. We gotta get rid of him. He's dead weight. Let's let's use him as a bait. Kind of thing. Yeah. Why would you waste the one guy that's getting the most masks out to the children?
Yeah, and I do love when he gets pressed. Dr. Chow's like, "Oh, what's your name? Oh, we're the Smiths." Of all the weird names in this movie, let's use the name that everyone has.
Well, why? Everybody else has the same mask anyway, so what's the difference? You wouldn't be surprised.
And then they did notice the guy that looked like. Obviously, all those guys sort of look the same. All of the
they really do. I mean,
robot men.
Yeah.
Because she notices the guy, and then you're right. They see the car, and Tom Atkins. She goes, "What should we do next?" And his line. Do you remember what he says?
No.
I think it's time to call the Marines. Oh my god! Because then they leave right away. So at this point, obviously they're super shady. So they should really leave for good. Because at this point, they're going to be on their radar, right?
Shouldn't they notify the police at this point?
Yeah.
Again, what are they? So what's their goal? What are they trying to accomplish by themselves? Just them two.
They want to get to the bottom of it, but again,
No,
he's
I
just
know
a
that, but I
doctor.
mean, like, how do they expect to do that? Going to this place where there's multiple guys like that look the same, like obviously there's a lot of like henchmen all around. They're going in there with no weapons or anything else, or really any skill. What are they trying to accomplish? Just them two alone, like that.
They didn't
Stupid.
really think it through. He really thought, "Hey, I can bone this girl. She's going through tragedy. It might be easy."
So he didn't expect this to be a whole long process. He figured,
Yeah.
he'll meet
Honey,
with her,
I got
hang out.
kids, honey. Come on, I'm gonna lose my visitation rights if I don't see him every few days.
Did the main villain, did he make any robot women besides the girl?
No, that he should have a robot
So
wife.
then
Right?
why so then why is she the only robot woman? Like how fast does he make, because she's the
yeah.
only woman.
Yeah, maybe as a failsafe because he thought, but I don't know why he wouldn't. That's the thing makes no sense.
Because the entire inside is all men, right? Like all men
Oh
working
yeah, it's
at
all
the
men. Yeah,
Yeah.
all the
Okay.
scientists are men. I don't know if
Right.
I don't know if the scientists are robot men because they seem like they think. Like the other guys don't think or talk. The other guys actually
So
actually
he
use their
only makes
brains.
robot men and only hires male scientists.
Male scientists, yes.
But he happened to make one female robot.
Yes.
Okay.
Which means
This-
zero
this-
sense the fact that she wouldn't if she was a robot, why wouldn't she have been like, he's over here, like before or while he was grabbing all the silver things that basically ended the plan.
Because like every villain, he wants to tell him the entire plan that he has and show him everything before he tries to leave him for dead.
Yes.
So if she's a robot the whole time, she's gonna bring him there so he can take him on the tour, show him everything, and then tell him the whole plan and give him a chance to escape.
Yeah. No, that's what the bad guys do, and that's their big mistake. They get away
every
with
time. Tell me one time that's worked out. Like find a movie. I want to find a movie where at one time where the villain explains the whole plan and actually kills the guy after he tells them the plan.
I would love that. I would love a movie that the hero doesn't make it.
No, but never. Well, I shouldn't say that. They live. He doesn't make it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So, but again, this happens in every movie. Like, I can understand you want to be proud of your plan and you want to tell the guy, great. Then take the gun and shoot the guy. Shoot the hero right away.
Yeah.
But instead you leave him and then you give him that chance, that slim chance that he's gonna make it out, and sure enough, it backfires every time.
Seth Green says the best to his dad in Austin Powers when he goes, "Why don't you go back in time when Austin Powers is sitting on the toilet and just kill him when he's on the toilet? How about no, Scott?" But bad guys, it doesn't feel good. Maybe like when you're at the bad guy meeting, you don't want to be like, "Yes, I did get rid of my guy." It's like, so what do you do now? It's like Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. What is his life afterwards?
I feel like the villains need the hero, like the Joker and Batman. I think there's plenty of times Joker could have killed Batman, but I think they feed on each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like I guess that's what it is. Like I guess it's the thrill of like telling the hero and then saying, all right, let's see if he escapes this one. I don't know, but it just backfires every time because I don't know one villain that makes it out alive after they tell him the whole plan.
None. And at this point, wouldn't he think like, hey, we're on their radar because we were kind of shady. We said our name was the Smiths. We were kind of weird after we saw like the dad's car, and then we kind of ran. Oh, let's just go back to the hotel. I'm going to leave you by yourself because our hotel doesn't have phones in the room. So while he's on the phone again, this is when he's calling the police. We hear the creepy song again. And at this point, he like runs back. And then when he runs back, she's gone. And then there's suits everywhere. And this is where he does like the most insane like escape still. So again, he's 47 at this point. But the way he escapes and like dodges.
Okay.
And
First of all,
hides.
you're right. I mean, after seeing what you're seeing, would you leave her out of your sight?
No.
And
come with me for the phone call.
Correct. Now, at this point, though, after she's missing, wouldn't you at this point say, "Listen, I really don't know this girl that much. I mean, I'm putting my life on the line. You know,
Yeah.
like I mean, she's probably dead anyway. Let me just go home." Like,
Yeah.
like what is he trying to prove at this point? Like go home with your kids. Your kids have the mask. At this point, does he tell the kids yet? Like the mom not to wear the mask?
Well, he doesn't know about the mask yet.
Okay, right. Okay, so go back to your kids. Like you've neglected your kids the entire movie. Okay, the girl that you were helping with is missing at this point.
Yeah.
There's nothing else you can do. But of course there is something he can do. He can escape and use like Taken skills.
Yeah, I know. And at this point, because they own the whole town, none of the phones are working because he's like going into phone booths. He's trying to dial, that's not working. And then he gets to the factory and he's looking for a way in. And then how about when he gets in there and the lady's sewing, right? He sees that creepy lady sewing. Oh, there's a lady. There's an old lady.
Oh, it's right. Wait. Okay, first of all, the lady wasn't even moving. So it was like the woman was propped up and her head wasn't moving and he was talking to her and literally her head just fell off.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like it was a broken robot and they just put a head on it like a mannequin and just put it on because like why would it fall off just like that?
Yeah, Cochrane said, "Oh, no, this is a good one. This is from 1785."
Again, that may unless they're like just like put it there as like just posing as like pretend someone's there, but like again, what would be the purpose?
Yeah, so, no purpose. But this is the first time we find out that the suits aren't real people because this is when
he finds out when he punches one.
That's what I mean, right here at the scene just before this. So he's like fighting the guy, and the guy like has
how is he struggling?
Human...
Hold on, how is he having this fight with the robot who's a robot should easily overpower him, and he's overpowering the robot?
Yeah. No, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's like on the ground. The guy's about to like kick his head in, and somehow Dr. Chalice breaks free, punches his fist through his stomach, and his belly has plates of orange marmalade. Is what kind of like.
It does. It looks like a apricot jelly or whatever that was, but he punches through metal. It's a robot.
Yeah.
How's he doing that?
I don't know. You would think that, like, why would there wouldn't be like organs, right? I would think it would just be like an outside. Like, why would there be anything else?
It would be like a shell. Like you would think it would be like a metal shell with the skin on top of it. And if it was indeed like something that was like detrimental to the robot that could hurt it, wouldn't it be protected by like strong metal all around so like nothing could penetrate it?
Wouldn't that make sense?
Hand, like a hand could go through the skin. He pulls a Temple of Doom with this thing.
Yeah. Or I always think of, again, it's bad guys being terrible. The Death Star. The Death Star is this thing that can blow up planets, but there's this little tiny thing it makes no sense. It's so silly, but it's
yeah. You know what? I didn't even think about that. Wouldn't you protect it at all costs? Like, wouldn't you put if you could build this huge Death Star? Why can't you build something that's surrounding the most delicate piece that can destroy the entire thing? And why would you put it like right in the center? Like, wouldn't you hide it?
It's
like, wouldn't you put it like in a corner somewhere? Like, yeah, okay.
Family Guy, the Family Guy Blue Harvest that like makes fun of those.
Yeah.
They do. Hey, why don't we just cover it up? He's like, hey man, I try my best, okay?
Yeah.
It's a bit. But yeah, so now there's about 30 minutes left in the movie. And now it's time for Halloween. At this point, this is when they like split them up. So Dr. Chalice goes by himself. And this is where the first time we see Stonehenge. And the best was his line because it was so silly. It was like what we thought as the audience. And he goes, "You wouldn't believe how hard it was to get it here."
I mean, the size of it alone that was there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, again, I would love to see like him to tell him how he brought it there because it's just ridiculous. It really is like the dumbest reason why he's able to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
Of all things that, like, again, we talk about the script table all the time of like, what are the ideas? Like, how are we going to get this power for the mask? And that one guy that says, you know what? Stonehenge.
Yeah. Or it's like the opposite of what we think of. It's like, okay, we got the script. It's called Season of the Witch. We're gonna have witches here. They're gonna be working with Cochrane. It's gonna be great. It's like, I don't like witches. But that's the name of the movie. Yeah, but Stonehenge.
You know, it's probably whoever, like the writer wanted only his ideas and no one else's.
Yeah.
And he go, this is how it's going to go. And even though these are great ideas and, you know, like an alien box or whatever, he goes, this is what I want. And we're going my way the whole time. Because
Tony,
the whole movie.
It's called Season of the Witch, and there's not one witch in the movie. Oh, I hear you. Stonehenge.
Stonehenge.
That's it, over and over again. Stonehenge. Can we just put a witch?
Stupid.
I'll give you a witch mask. But that doesn't really tell anything about the movie because it's called Season of the Witch, not Season of the Pumpkin or Skull.
Is there a witch mask?
Yeah, yeah. It's witch, pumpkin, skull.
Okay, so there is one for the girls then. Okay,
yeah,
so they have the witch. No, I know. I was just trying to. I was there a witch involved in the movie at all? And I guess the mask.
A pumpkin is a male specific.
No. That would be neutral. Yeah, but
even a skull. We're all skulls.
I understand that, but for we're talking about the 80s.
I know.
You know, for the most part, like I think girls were not going to walk around in a skull. You know, maybe today is a little different story. You know, but I'm just saying, like at least a witch, there's something to do with the title.
Yeah,
you know, I something. So, okay.
So here's the family. Locked in the room.
By the way, this is awful.
Oh,
like.
Watch the magic pumpkin. Just the way he's watching it. And I love how the mom's not very nice either.
See? So they're monitoring what's each one.
I think this whole thing.
Oh no, this is in the factory. They locked him in a room.
Look at that.
Look at her. Everything's so fake. The grapes are fake. Oh.
By the way. Oh, we'll get. Oh. They don't notice this going on? Like.
But the fact that it looks like the pumpkin's melting too. The mask is melting.
It looks like the pumpkin is rotting.
Yeah. Oh.
It looks like a rotten pumpkin.
Honey, are you okay?
Like, how about the fact that
I'm fine.
How does the mom die? She faints and dies?
I don't know. Did she get bit by the snake too?
No, she doesn't. The father does. Watch. She's dead.
Oh.
That's it.
Oh, well, maybe it's assumed she dies because the snake's going to get to her. If the snake gets him, he goes right to the...
I mean, okay, first of all, think about how slow that snake's coming out. Like, he had plenty of time to do something. I still want to know how the snake...
Oh, no, the mom. Watch, keep watching. The mom has a little snake on her head. She has a little tiny snake that's like on her ear or something. It's kind of creepy. But here's my thing. What if he like flipped that couch if it's not on the ground? The snake's not gonna climb up the couch.
Well, of course it can.
Yeah? You can
snakes can climb anything. Yeah, well, not the wall, but I mean... Oh.
Classic.
So stupid. But yeah, I mean, it looked like the pumpkin it looked like a real pumpkin that rotted.
It did. How about the way he is jealous? He's
how about like trying to kill the snake? I mean, stop, take the chair and throw it at the snake or something. Like, he just waited for the snake to attack him.
It was freaky because that was a rattlesnake. So obviously that's not the one that jumped on whoever the stuntman was. When you saw the rattle on the end of it, I was like, oh my God, this is pretty wild. But that was a huge snake to come out of the head.
Again, it's coming out of the mask. Like, how is that possible? Like, what's the... I wish they explained that also. Again, if it was a real witch doing that, believable. Believable. Yeah. She has the power to do that. Stonehenge is making bugs come out. Like, it's so dumb.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But then right after this is the scene I was talking about.
Okay, so the plan is for the mask to, I guess, demolish the user. Mm-hmm. And then the bugs to kill anyone around them.
I think that is what the plan. That makes no sense.
Okay.
What if the dad's outside walking the
dog? It makes the prank funnier. It makes the prank funnier. That's all. Okay. All right.
What, my son's head's missing. Oh no. Oh, but there's snakes. Oh man, that Cochrane. Ugh. But I think the silliest scene out of all the scenes in this movie are these scientists in lab coats with glasses on and chiseling at Stonehenge like really slow. I thought that was like so ridiculous because they didn't say. I would love to have seen. Give me like exposition from Cochrane because he gave us a lot in the movie when he talks about what he's doing. Why not talk about like we use a little Stone Age magical?
Absolutely.
Something.
Like, we put a little Stone Age in every man, something, right? They just see them chiseling, but there's no explanation.
Yeah.
That's my point. Like, there really is no explanation for anything that goes on in this movie at all. There's no explanation.
No.
They don't explain one thing.
Nothing
Even
at
the
all.
prank, he doesn't explain why he wants to prank the kids.
No, he doesn't at all. I wrote a lot of it down when we get to it. So from here is this one they do the. I'm not going to play the other one, but the Silver Shamrock commercial when it's like, oh, it's almost 9:00. Don't forget after the horror-thon, make sure that make sure you're wearing your mask. And then we get the hottie coroner. She's calling, looking for Dr. Chalice. And when she calls the hotel, the line's dead. And it's like, pick up and try again. And I wrote down, it's funny. My buddy had a rotary phone in his house when I was a kid. And it would be like cool to call on it. It was like a lot of fun. But like, she dialed that thing like 3 different times because she had to call the operator, call the number, call the operator again, call another number. And it was like, it was exhausting watching her do it. It was like, it made the scene so long. And I guess that is what added to the suspense because we saw on the left side of the screen, we saw the suit, Robot Man, creeping around.
How they know where she was?
They monitor all the phones in the town. They knew where he was calling.
That's what I mean. Like, so like they somehow know everything because they're able to get everywhere.
Well, it's that, and they have security cameras throughout the town, so they probably have every phone line tapped, and they're listening in on it, and they probably figured out. But her death, I really wish they would have shown. But in a sense, it was even creepier knowing what was going to happen. But you know what made 0 sense? There was no battery on that drill bit. On that drill.
No, and why would he have to use a drill? He has metal hand. He's a robot. Like, why did they have to use a weapon? He could just smash her face in like they did with the other guy. Like, so, yeah. Okay.
Why make a mess when you're going to clean up? And then what if somebody else walks in? Yeah.
And if they have all these cameras all over the place, how are they getting them installed and no one's questioning anything? Like, why are you putting cameras everywhere?
Well, the town's in on it. Everybody from the town's in on it because the guy that ran the hotel, you're like, oh, you're going to love it. That's Silver Shamrock. They're the best thing that ever happened in this town. So everybody's in on it. So it's like almost like it's
maybe they're all robots.
Oh no, I can believe that. It's almost like what's the movie when all the wives are robots?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Nicole Kidman was in the remake.
Yeah.
They're good movies. But yeah, maybe it is something like that. That would make a lot of sense because they're like, man, that Silver Shamrock company's great.
Correct.
Except the homeless guy, I guess he didn't get turned into a robot. He wasn't lucky.
He wandered into town. The wrong town. So he just kept moving town to town, and he ended up there. Yeah.
But then this is when Cochrane has Dr. Chalice tied up on what sort of looks like a what the hell are they called? When you move things around, a dolly. It looks like he's really on a dolly strapped up. Yep. And he wants him to watch the show with the skull mask on. And he says that he likes pranks, and this would be the biggest prank on the children. And yeah, that's it.
Why wouldn't he kill him right away? Like, why? Again, if his plan is to kill the children for a prank, this is a guy that came the closest to kind of like defeating him.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't you kill him right away?
Yeah. Or how about, since they know everything about him, they know he's been calling home, why not go kidnap his kids and have them in the room and have them that'd have been like more of a reason for him. At this point, obviously he knows his kids have those masks, but maybe if they were in the room, like the family was in, like sort of on that,
right,
then it would be like some extra motivation to get out.
Well, listen, is it motivation? Because he really doesn't seem to care about his kids or his
really
wife.
Doesn't.
So I mean, you're like, listen, if you don't do what we say, we're gonna kidnap your kids. All right, make things easier for me because I'm trying to avoid him this whole time, so it's okay.
Yeah, I got like 7 dates lined up for next week, man. I gotta work it in.
Yes, I don't think that would work.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, so from them we saw the scene from Halloween 1 That was on the horror-thon, which was, I guess, from like 7 to 9, and then 9 was the big giveaway. And yeah, dude, how quick he gets out of there and weasels his way forward, kicks through the TV. Like you said, those things are so thick, those old TV, and they weigh a ton.
Think about it this way. So I'm assuming they had two people that come in there, the girl's father and him, both escaped. So clearly the guy that's tying them up is not a good henchman.
And the guy that's watching is not a good watcher.
And the guy's right. So because they had two people escape from what they're doing.
Yeah.
So okay.
And how about the fact that how many guys are around on all those TVs, the blinky lights? One guy can't be the one that watched the guy in the room because he like looks away, and then when he looks back is right after he has that epic toss of the mask to block it, which is crazy.
You know what? I think if you tried, and again, he didn't have his arm free at the time, right?
No,
so,
he was like this.
Right. So okay. So if you did that in real life, I don't think you'd land it once out of 100 throws.
No, it would be
not
so
once.
hard to throw a mask high up.
It'd be hard enough if you had your arm free in doing it, let alone just like this a little flick. There's no way it's landing perfectly on the camera, and he does it on one try. Like it'd be one thing if he threw it, it missed, he grabbed it with his foot, and he slid it back and tried it again. But like he literally, and it's funny, like the way it landed, like you could see it like slowly get and like land right perfectly.
Yeah. They probably did the old, like, they put it on there and had like a string on it, pulled it back and reversed the footage because there's no way that would happen. And then he easily grabs, not even that, the fact that somehow he's able to kick it and somehow feed his hand a piece of the glass.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. And then he cuts himself out.
And again, it's a thick glass. So you see the glass in his hand is pretty thick. The fact that his foot was able to go through there and no one hears anything?
No one. And nobody's watching that monitor because they have to flick all those random lights in order to make sure they're...
Yeah. Okay.
And I love that the scientist that notices that the TV went black, instead of running to it, Cochrane is on the... How funny was that? Cochrane's like chit-chatting away like a high school girl with somebody that owns a Halloween store, which I guess they can direct call him. And he's like, oh, yeah, don't worry. Oh, I'll make sure we send you some extra masks next year.
He doesn't have a sales guy? Like he has to do everything?
But the fact that scientist doesn't say like, hey, this is really important. Hang up right now. The guy that we have locked up, the cameras went out. Nope. He waits that
if he's the main, like he's like the president of the company, how often does the president get on the phone with just random people? Never. Like, so like, why is he getting involved?
Yeah, no, that is true. Why? It makes zero sense. And they finally find out for him, and at that point, he already like is pulling a McLean and going through. He's going through the vents.
There's no way. First of all, he's a big guy. He's not fitting in a vent. There's no way. Like they make these vents look so big in the movies. They're not that big.
They're tiny. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no way he's going through. So.
Yeah, not at all.
And
but
I would assume if you are going through the vents, it's making a lot of noise. If you hear like a mouse or a critter running in the vents, you hear it in seconds, and they're like the lightest things. Like you can hear things crawling around in vents. There's a guy he probably weighs around 220 pounds. You're gonna tell me he's not gonna make noise squeezing through the vent?
Yeah, there's no other sounds going on besides like the beep and the boops from the computers. Yeah. So they would
unless everybody's like lost their hearing from listening to that stupid commercial over and over again.
I love that he finally gets out. Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe they all have like earplugs in so they don't have to listen to it all the time.
Oh, maybe. Oh, you know what? Maybe.
And that's why they can't hear.
Because that could do some damage. Oh, yeah.
No, damage. They just don't want to hear it anymore. Forget damage.
Oh, I think you meant because the masks they were wearing them or something.
Well, that too. You know what? So all those masks that are in the warehouse, how come they don't all go off?
You know what? That's a great point. That is. Okay. It is. Because the fact that when we get to it in a few minutes, but I love that he finally gets through everything. He calls his wife, and this is where you hear, like you said, like the Charlie Brown parents, when she's like, rah, 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 rah. Oh, you're drunk again. Because he's like, don't let them wear the mask. The silver shamrock mask. Don't let him wear the mask. But nope. At this point, we get a little view of the time, which is kind of crazy from when we saw him tied up. to then it was like an hour. Because now there's only 34 minutes till 9 p.m. And I love that he busts her out, and they see on the camera that he's getting Ellie out. How the hell do people still fall for the moving object? The
Oh
fact that
my
the moving
gosh.
cart with masks,
Oh,
there
it was so
wasn't-
cartoony.
yes, there's nothing else in the room except
Yeah,
brown boxes.
It's like when they look, they're like, did you notice something move? That wasn't there before. I don't know. It looked like it was there before. Like, it was like such a cartoony thing.
Yeah.
But you know what they should have done? His kids should have put the mask on and died. Just to shows you what kind of douchey parent he's been the whole movie, that he wasn't there for them once. They should have died. And that would be on him.
Well, I think it's assumed that everyone dies. Like at the very
Okay.
end when he is getting ready to scream.
Well, again, the entire warehouse should be filled with bugs at this point.
No, the fact that we didn't get a lot of bugs, all we got was lasers and the circle of light. Because the fact that he grabs the silver medallions, and this is before that is when he sneaks up, right? Because he sneaks up first.
Sneaks up first. No, because I know.
How does he sneak up and touch the right buttons for everything to go off? And they're all confused, like, what's going on? And then somebody climbs up to the top. Cochrane even sees him, and he dumps the. Why are the medallions just in his boxes?
And how big is this lair that knows exactly where he's going? Like, is it really only 2 rooms? Like you have the prisoner room, you have the family room, the other one, and then you have the big warehouse area. Like
that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
From the outside, it looks huge. It looks like the size of a super Walmart, but inside it's I don't know, a little it's tiny, very tiny. The fact that he's able to drop those things.
But you made a point. Why would medallions be in that one box? These are lethal things. These are the most important. You're just gonna leave them randomly like that?
And why would you leave any out? You're never gonna be around after this. Everyone's gonna know. Oh, it's not gonna be oh, how did all the kids turn into snakes? Oh, what's the one commonality between everything? Oh, they were wearing these silver shamrock masks. It's not anything else. That is why these kids are dead, because of this.
So what was his plan on November 1st?
He had no plan.
So the lair just shuts down? At that point, all right, we did our job, and it's all whatever's left over, we just shut it down. There's nothing else to do.
That's a great question. What was the end game? There was no end game. It was just okay, I have a great idea. What do you do next? That was it.
You know what? There should have been a backstory that he was bullied as a kid, he missed Halloween or something like that, or why he hates the kids at Halloween.
My dad would never buy me a mask.
Something this would have been a revenge motive, for his, and then fine, this motive. But there's no motive at all for what he's trying to do.
Yeah. Zero. Okay. There's really nothing that happens. But I love when he drops everything, the coins, and everybody dies. They start shaking. It's like electricity. And I love Cochrane because he does a golf clap. And then right from that, Stonehenge shoots a lightning bolt into him, and then shoots that lightning bolt. It's like the circle of light from all the computers is lit up. And then Stonehenge, and they meet at Cochrane, and then he disappears.
Where'd he go?
I don't know.
Again, tell me one thing that is explained in this movie.
Nothing.
Again, even the explanation of why he's doing it doesn't explain why he's doing it.
Yeah.
He says why he's so again, Cochrane disappears. Okay. Now what? Do we see him on another planet? Do we see him is he next to the original Stonehenge? where? Yeah. So
it'd be great if he was zapped into the commercial. You saw his face instead of the pumpkin.
This makes no sense. If that maybe it would have been better maybe if they zapped him and he turns into a robot. Yeah. I guess I don't know. I again. The more we break this down, you can't tell me you enjoy this movie. This is Mirror Mirror really doesn't have a thick plot either. I mean, it's a rough one, and this is up there. There's really, this movie is awful. The more you break it down, it just gets me angry and angrier to watch this because There's no. I'm gonna have to wiki tons of stuff about this stupid movie now, and I want to see other people's opinions. So
then from there, Dr. Chalice and Ellie, they fly out of that, and he's trying to talk to her, and she's not answering because he wants to get back. So they have to figure out how they can stop the commercial from being aired. And she forced them to crash. And you get like such a bizarre, like sort of fight scene because she's missing an arm, and he grabs a tire iron, he whacks her head off, and you think it's over, and she's still moving. And then they do like what they do in all the horror movies or any villain. You think it's officially over? No, then the arm grabs them somehow.
it's so dumb. I mean, yeah. I mean, the fact that the arm is working without the rest of the body makes no sense.
Robots can do that.
No, they can't, because once your wires are cut for whatever, the brain of the robot is not in the arm. It's all the wires that attach from wherever the nucleus of the robot.
Energy. It's like the chicken with the head cut off. It can still run for a little bit.
If you cut the robot's arm, it's not going to work. The Terminator gets his arm cut off. Does it move? I don't think his arm moves.
Yeah, it does. Like it moves like a little bit, and then it dies.
Oh, then it dies. This one was not dying. This one was out for murder.
Yeah, yeah. And I love. Who would you call? I guess maybe he's the doctor in the community. He knows like somebody at the head of a station, but you wouldn't even be calling the station. Remember, this is a commercial that's airing all over the United States. So he calls and he's like, I don't have any proof. The proof is you just did not believe me. Don't air the commercial. I love it. It's like the kids come into the gas station to trick or treat, and they're standing there. Each kid's
Who goes trick or treating at a gas station?
There's not much in this town, I guess.
I mean, even that is so dumb. Yeah. I mean, okay. I bet you if you polled 500 people and you asked all of them when you were younger, have you ever trick or treated at a gas station? Not one will say yes.
Yeah,
First
and
of all,
also, do you think
would you want to eat candy that you got at a gas station?
No, probably like smell like gas. But are gas station attendants like buying candy?
Oh. And would you trust the candy that's at a gas station? No. Oh.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But I love that when he's like, turn her off. And then the kids watching it. And if people watch this movie nowadays, if you're younger, you're like, what's the knobs on the TV? Like, but when it turns off, it's like, shh, please stand by. And then he goes to the next one. It's starting to play on the other channel. Please stand by. And then he's screaming, stop it. And then that's the end. So it's like assumed that those 3 kids died. And hopefully they avoided the snakes because there was a door right there. And they weren't locked in the room. But any kid that was wearing the mask died. Or hopefully whatever kid was watching on channel 2 and it didn't work, didn't go to the next channel and just said, because I wouldn't have thought when they said in all the times the ad, I wouldn't have thought it meant every channel. It made it seem like it was on after the horror-thon, which I'm guessing that was on one channel, not every channel.
How much did they pay for the advertisement? Because that seemed to be the only thing on, besides the cartoon, it seemed like that was the only thing on TV was the commercial.
Cartoons, whatever, like cheap football knockoff
whatever game,
that they were film. Yeah.
And the commercial, yeah.
That made no sense too. The fact that they said, make sure you tune in after the horror-thon, but it shouldn't be on every channel.
Yeah,
and
I know.
What commercials are on at 9 o'clock? It'd be like 8:57. 9 o'clock is when the new shows start. Oh my god!
And any commercial at like 9 o'clock is going to be for the adults, not for the kids. Kids back then, kids are not up at 9 o'clock watching TV. So yeah, stupid.
So that was Halloween 3, the season without a witch. Jamie, what would you like? Again, I don't think this movie, like we talked about so many things. Thin plot, not a lot to it, but I think it could have been. It does have its following because some people like the different movie and franchise. Like there's people that like Jason Goes to Hell. I don't know who those people are, but I bet you if this movie was not associated with Halloween, it would be like, I'm not saying it'd be better, but it's just like while you're watching the movie, you're like, okay, why is this not
Okay,
have Michael
okay.
Myers?
So if this wasn't associated to Halloween, it would be just another like one of those horror movies that because it's a lot of silly horror movie. I mean, you have a horror movie called Rubber that's about a possessed tire, right?
Yeah.
So there are stupid horror movies out there, and this would be a movie of its own, and it would probably fit in that whole. Listen, you have Basket Case, isn't that what a creepy
Yeah.
basket monster, right? So you have like those stupid movies. So I think this would have probably a bigger cult following if it was a movie on its own. I think the fact that you have it as a Halloween movie lost a lot of people that might have normally liked it.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you're gonna get those hard people, like I said, like Jason Goes to Hell, which I think is awful because it has nothing to do with Friday the 13th. You're gonna have those people that will like it no matter what. But I think it would have if they separated it, it probably would have done much better. But with that being said, it's still an awful movie.
Yeah. You know what's funny?
So,
Like, I bet you even if John Carpenter did a different thing, he just wanted to make his own anthology. So he wanted to do like another thing that was called Halloween something, just because it's not like the first two movies are called like Michael Myers, but it's just like when the movie was that good and that successful, you associate it with Halloween. And one thing that's like totally off topic, but I wanted to mention this to you. Well, it's on topic, but Halloween 2 originally, I saw it didn't get past like the concept poster art, but it wasn't going to be at the hospital like the next day the way the sequel did. It was going to be like a few years later with Laurie living in an apartment building and him terrorizing her in the apartment building. It is I want to buy the poster if I can find it. It's like really cool.
So you saw the poster of
Yeah,
what
they
it's
made
supposed
concept art to like pitch the movie.
Gotcha.
And it's just like a high-rise building, and then you see him like above it with a knife. It looks pretty rad. But I don't know. Like again, I think this is like the Friday the 13th Part 5 in a sense that
It is.
from this it brought it back because I love Halloween 4, and then it went downhill after that.
Well, I think it brought it back because they were like, all right, this is such a awful movie. We have to kind of go back to the roots of what made Halloween. Again, I think the Halloween series is awful. I'm not a fan of Halloween.
I like some of them.
I'm not, the Michael Myers thing to me, I don't know. Again, I'm a Jason guy, right? So I like Jason's character so much better. I like Freddy so much better. To me, I just never got into Halloween, and even the ones that we've watched already, I just don't. I don't know. I'm not a Halloween fan to begin with. And
we
this
watched
movie,
some pretty bad ones. Yeah, we watched. What did we do? Just
but even
four,
even the first one, I felt like it was slow. It took a while for Jason to kill. I mean, Michael Myers to kill someone, and one, I can't get past his heavy breathing behind the mask. Like you hear like the heavy breathing, and he really doesn't kill many people. I don't know. I don't know.
No, I agree. Again, I'm more of a Jason guy too. I just I would say this franchise to me, it's more misses than hits. Like 1, 2, and 4 are like the only ones I really like. The newer ones, I kind of like Halloween 2018, and I kind of like Halloween Kills just because it was so crazy and over the top and like ridiculous. But Resurrection,
I never saw the
terrible.
last one. Was the last one worth watching?
Terrible. For me, because he was barely in the movie. You didn't see him until like 52 minutes in. Spoiler alert. But and then no.
I did like the first one when they ignored all the other ones and he was in the nut house or whatever.
Yeah.
So
like Rob Zombie ones.
Honestly, I didn't even bother. Yeah.
Terrible.
I won't watch those. Yeah. All right.
So absolutely terrible. But so I didn't even talk to Jamie about this. So I sent him a photo a few weeks ago. Our friend of the podcast, guest reviewer often, and loves listening to us, Nick Sperdone. He was in Philadelphia and he picked me up some really cool VHS tapes. One was like a real legit vintage Death Wish 3, but another one on there was a sequel that me and Jamie talked about a while ago. Since we're not ramping up our interviews yet because of everything still going on with SAG, and it's been hard to get people behind the scenes, we have a few lined up. But until then, we're going to do another sequel. FX2 was one of the sequels that he got me. So I think that's only fitting that we I would never know the Australian guy's name, and I should, because I love him in the FX movies.
Cocktail.
Cocktail. And then he was funny in he was in the one with Ben Stiller, Along Came Polly. He was the guy that he was like insuring.
Yeah.
That was like a nut job.
I don't remember. I did see FX2 a long time ago. I mean, a long time ago. I mean, the first one was great, so I don't remember the second one as much. Is Brian Dennehy in the second one too?
Yeah.
Okay.
They link up again
Cool.
to like I don't know if it's a serial killer or something, but no, it's pretty good. The first one's amazing. The second one, he uses his special effects skills, so that'd be a lot of fun.
Okay.
And then after that, we have some interviews lined up. Hopefully, they go through. And so don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only, and don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.